Well, in a minute we're going to show you the lobster boats that are leaving the harbor. So I'm going to stand up. But right now these are Obama bugs. This is my projection of Obama's next trip down the steps of Air Force One. Nope, it's not a lobster boat. Got the big diesel like a lobster boat, but this is one of the boats that is a fishing boat that works out of the end of Largo Canal. And this is, he's got a crew on there, a 6-pack license, and they're going fishing for the day. That's got to be close to 52 feet. That's a lot of boat. In case anybody's interested in what a boat like that would cost to rent for the day, probably looking at about $2,000 for the day. And then here we go with the Keys Diver, which is another boat that docks at the end of the canal, and they're going diving for the day. Hey, Petey! That's Peter, the captain. That's the boat I go diving on when I go diving out of the canal here. It docks about 1,000 feet from the house, and most reasonable prices in the Florida Keys, in the upper Keys for sure, in case anybody ever comes down here and does any diving. The captains on all the boats in the Keys are pretty good. They don't fool around with the captain's licenses down here. They have drug and alcohol tests regularly. So typically if you're a captain, you don't drink or do drugs. Well, you might be able to drink, but not within a certain period of time before you pilot the craft out of the harbor. And no drugs. There's a zero tolerance for drugs for any captain. I've taken the captain's test and passed it with flying colors, but I choose not to do that for a living because a man like Pete, who runs that big boat and all the responsibility, they don't really make enough money to warrant all the education and knowledge they need to be a captain. And with my little backhoe here, I make a little bit more money than that. Oh, but of course I own the equipment. But in the Florida Keys you don't make much money. So if you plan on moving to the Florida Keys and buying a house, I would suggest that you save up enough money to buy the house or keep a very small mortgage, because the average pay for the people in the Florida Keys is about somewhere between $8.50 and $10 an hour for labor, $12 an hour for skilled labor, $14 an hour if you're really lucky for skilled labor, unless of course you own the business. But the life expectancy of a resident of the Keys that comes here with $5,000 or less is typically 6 months, and they need to find a new place to live because they can't afford to live here. So, that being said, no fishing boats. I guess Peter left before I got back out here with my camera, because it only takes him 30 minutes to recycle the boat, and it's been about that much time. So this is Michael Fazio in the Florida Keys, explaining a little bit of the life here. And today is August 3rd or 4th, I believe. I don't pay much attention to that type of a thing. And I wish everybody a good day. And remember, Michael Fazio for President 2012, because if you elect Obama, he will destroy what's left of America. And a God day to everybody.